Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm drawing the Madrigal family from Encanto. Today's video turned out to be kind of long. I actually think it's my longest video since my first security breach video, which was like my third video, so my videos have been more on the shortish side lately, but this one's a little bit longer, so I hope you enjoy. So my main struggle when drawing these characters is their hair, because I've drawn curly hair before, but it's always been a little bit difficult, because the thing with drawing is that you're creating the illusion of 3D objects, so things like curls, which are 3D, can be a little bit confusing. But this was actually really good practice for drawing curly hair. By the end of it, I did really have fun drawing all the little curls and stuff, and I liked the way it turned out, so I'm getting better at it. Also, sorry for not uploading last week. This drawing took a little bit longer to draw because there are so many characters and I made it like pretty detailed. You'll see later when I'm adding the details, but these characters are super detailed and I really liked that about them, so I wanted to add all the details, but it did take a little bit longer to do. Ever since I watched this movie, I have been really wanting to draw the characters for said reason of like them being really detailed. I just really like the character designs. I think that they're all like really well designed. I like how they all look very different, but like similar enough to where they look related and nobody looks out of place, but they still have a lot of character and you can easily tell them apart, which is pretty important for a movie with a lot of characters. The movie as a whole was actually pretty good. I really liked just the visuals in general, like it was very pretty and the songs were good and it had a good storyline, so one of the better movies that has come out in recent years. But yeah, the characters were definitely my favorite part of this movie. I mean, the characters are kind of my favorite part of every movie, so I think that's just a me thing. I always really like the characters. I don't really know why. It's just if I like a character, then I will usually like a movie, even if the storyline isn't exactly the best or it has like obvious plot holes. I can usually overlook those things if there are other things that I like more about it, like the characters. And usually I don't really care for movies that I don't really care for the characters in, even if it is a good movie. So I don't know, I've always just kind of gravitated towards the characters. I think one of the reasons is the fact that I guess even when I was a kid, I was kind of thinking about the art side of it. I wasn't really an artist per se as a kid, but nowadays one of the reasons why I like characters is for like the art reasons, because if they have fun designs, then you'll enjoy drawing them, and sorry if you can hear my dogs. And as an artist, visuals are obviously like really important and appealing to me, so characters and visuals and stuff, if it's like nice to look at. But that's not the only reason I like characters. It's like if that person seems like somebody I'd want to be my friend in real life, then I'll like them in the movie kind of thing. So I've talked a lot about characters. You might be wondering if I have a favorite character. Unless you're not, in which case I'm going to tell you anyways. However, I'm pretty indecisive, so it's really difficult for me to like choose a favorite of anything, because there's always, like, in this instance, characters, like, there's all the characters are really good, so how could one possibly choose, right? Unless that's just a me thing and you're like, there's clearly one obvious answer. But if I had to choose, I want to say, like, Dolores or Camilo. I don't know why. Dolores was one that from the very beginning of the movie I just liked. I don't know why, and even till now I've still like continued to like her as one of my favorite characters, and I don't really have a reason for that. I just for some reason gravitated towards her. And Camilo was actually one that I didn't really notice until like the end of the movie, and I was thinking back on the characters and I was like, you know, I like that guy. He seems fun. I also like the fact that Camilo's part of "We Don't Talk About Bruno" literally sounds like it's just coming from the eyes of a child. Because he would have been a child last time he saw Bruno. Pretty much nothing he says about him is actually true. Like, the only thing that's accurate about Bruno that he says is the rats, which is kind of odd because I didn't know he had rat friends until later, but okay. Speaking of Bruno, I also really liked him and Peppa. They're kind of crazy, and I kind of love that. And I guess since we're kind of going through all of the characters, I liked how Felix is like the fun dad. I like how Julieta and Augustine are like the super caring parents. Luisa's super cool. I like Isabella. Antonio's really adorable and actually like makes me kind of like kids more. And I love his Jaguar, it's so cute. And then of course there's Mirabel, who is like, you know, the main character. Who doesn't love Mirabel? And then there's Abuela, who I don't really think is that like terrible of a person necessarily, because like she's not really purposely being mean, and it is based off of like trauma and stuff. But like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, she was kind of a terrible person. Also, sorry if I pronounced any of their names wrong. I'm really bad at words. So sorry about the jump right here. I lost some of the line art footage, and I guess that's kind of okay because you don't need to see me do the line art for all of the characters, and this video is really long anyways. So now we're on to the detailing. I kind of started doing the details and then was like, why don't I record doing this part? Like, this part's probably one of the more interesting things you could watch me do. So on the top of Peppa's dress, it doesn't exactly look like that, but that's kind of how I initially saw it with the picture I was looking at, and then I was like, wait, that's not what it looks like. I drew little, like, beams, I guess, but there was actually just folds, but I decided to keep it because I thought it was cute, so I don't have a lot to say about this part. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it was really fun adding all of the details. They may not be completely accurate, because I was just going off the images I could find, but I think that overall the details are decently accurate, so I thought that was really cool. It was actually really fun drawing all the details because you notice things that you didn't necessarily notice before. I also really enjoyed coloring Antonio's Jaguar. I think after adding like all the color and stuff, it made it look really pretty. I don't know, I don't usually draw animals, but I love animals, so I really liked that part. So because I'm terrible at telling the difference between leopards and jaguars, I looked up which one was in this movie, and it said it was a jaguar, which I also then looked up jaguar versus leopard, and it did look more like a jaguar, but the funny thing is that the spots, at least from what I could see, looked more like leopard spots, but everything else about it looked like a jaguar, so I was like, that's interesting. I don't know if it's just like what I could see of it in the pictures that I was looking at, or if they just like gave it the wrong spots. I don't know, I kind of feel like they didn't mess that up, because leopards just have like the big like brown spots with the black around them, and jaguars have the same thing, except they have like little black dots in their spots. But from what I could see of the cat in the movie, it didn't have the little black spots like a jaguar should, but like I said, I don't know if that's just like the pictures I was looking at. Either way, for being a stylized cat, it did look more like a jaguar than a leopard, so good job to them. I really enjoyed adding the details on Mirabel's dress because they're kind of like messy and just like, you know, like she did it herself, and that was really fun to draw. Something that I found really interesting and cool was the fact that Dolores has like really subtle sound related symbols and stuff on her dress. Like, my favorite part is the fact that on her top, it's basically just like a pattern of like little sound wave things. You know, little sound wave squiggles. You all know what I'm talking about. So since this video is already extremely long, I decided not to show the shading process for all of the characters since it's pretty normal shading. You see it in like all of my videos. However, I decided to still show you the shading of at least one character and Antonio's Jaguar because I figured that would be kind of interesting because, like I said, I don't usually draw animals. And that way you'd also get to see how I shade clothes and animals with like patterns or just detailing on them. So basically all I do is I take an even darker color than I would normally shade with, then I just do normal shading and then lower the opacity on that layer, and that way you can see the pattern underneath. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see me draw more Encanto pictures, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching.